boldly go where no man has gone before. Welcome to the Forged and Wyo Podcast. I'm Forge Master Ben, and with me today, as always, is Chancellor Perry and Dr. Mike Alzheimer. What are we going to talk about today?
We, Ben, are going to talk about the Forge Directive, and can I say, that intro was perfect. I'm glad that you threw a little bit of flair in there. But before we start on that, we have to niff.
Tradish.
You ready, boys?
Ready.
Shake, shake, pank, pank.
Hit it deep.
Oh. That was a lot better than the last one you gave me.
Oh, jeez.
A little teary-eyed.
Okay. So, the Forge Directive, right? So the reason it's super nerdy why we went with the directive is because back in the day, Mike and I used to spend our off hours watching The Next Generation with Captain Picard of Star Trek, because I'm a huge Trekkie. So I got him sucked into it, and pretty much every night after work, we'd watch Star Trek together. Sometimes we'd have little tears in our eyes. Sometimes we'd be laughing. But I like the thought of a directive, a list of rules to follow to, act accordingly and just represent who you are as part of a group. In Star Trek, it's called the Prime Directive. So we kind of went off with the Forge Directive, and it's painted up on our walls for everybody to see.
Yeah, shout out Willie Myers for the mural.
Yeah, Willie's a killer. Literally just nailed every single one.
Mm-hmm.
But should we start off with the first one, Ben?
Yeah, let's start off with the first directive. So number 1, respect the fleet, respect the crew, represent your uniform and what it stands for.
So, yeah, I think we had that one as number 1 because, when we look at the Forge logo and when you wear that, and then as we've seen people wear it, we want it to represent something. And, Forge is more than just, to us at least, it stands for more than just a place to work out, fitness. There's supposed to be
a family, a community.
A community. And when you wear that, like you would for even the military or anything like that, it should represent and mean something.
Right.
And if someone's wearing that, we want that to reflect those values and virtues that, we try to instill and build into this community.
Yeah, if Joe Schmo sees somebody wearing the Forge F, we want to have this almost impression of hey, that I can call that dude and he'll be a reliable person, or he's a good person, or he's there because he's representing the F and the brand and what it means. And just if you're wearing it out in public, it's just kind of making a statement, right? You're working on yourself, you're bettering yourself, and you're involved in this community and this culture that we have here at the gym. So in my eyes, it is kind of a uniform. It's like when I was in the military, anywhere I'd go in my uniform, you kind of hold a certain position. Mm-hmm. Just there's almost this unspoken respect. If you're flying through the airport, everybody's like, hey, man, you go ahead first. Sometimes it's like, no, it's good, but thank you for that. I appreciate that. But I kind of want our brand to represent that too, You're part of something bigger than just yourself by wearing the Forge F. We're part of our clothing. Mm-hmm. What we consider the fleet is anybody out there. It doesn't matter what their numbers are in the gym. It doesn't matter how involved they are. The fact that they're part of the family. They could be distance family. They could be distance clients. Just give them their respect, Cheer for them. Encourage them. Get them motivated. Maybe they're not at your strength level. Maybe they're just starting their journey or they're at the end of it. Be there to support them. That's the fleet. The crew is obviously who you see every day, right? Mm-hmm. Me, Mike, Ben, Mason, Reagan, Grant. They're just the main individuals in here.
Well, and that respect part is something that, I think you can often see in a gym where everyone's kind of just like an individual and everyone's kind of just off to themselves, not paying attention or not engaged with the rest of the people. And, we want people here to be family, community, friends, and to show those people respect just for the fact that they are part of this crew. And like Chancellor said, it doesn't matter. And we never wanted this to be kind of like an elitist gym where it's like, just the strong are here or whatever. It's like for beginners, for new, for injured, whatever. Anybody and everybody that comes to our gym should be shown a level of respect just because they're here to better themselves. And it doesn't matter where they are in that journey or what part of that journey they're on. So we just kind of demand and require. And honestly, like if it's a case where someone's not being respectful, and that's why that directive's there, it's like if someone doesn't fall in line,
it's on the wall.
They're not welcome.
Yeah.
And we will and have.
We have before.
had to let people go if they don't show respect.
It's literally right here in giant letters.
Yeah.
Like you are obviously abusing this part of the directive.
It's kind of like our non-negotiables. I mean, we'll go through the rest of the list, but like anything on this list and everything, if you're not falling in line with that, like we as owners are not gonna, we'll talk to you and discuss it. But if like someone can't continuously like break these directives, then we will and have to let people go.
Yeah,
because it's making it a negative environment for anybody here.
And we want our community to feel comfortable enough that if you do see somebody that's not really following the directive, or they're acting in a certain manner that just doesn't seem acceptable, like Mike and I are pretty much here all the time, and Ben's always here at the front desk, but we can't see everything. So like we've had members come up to us and talk about issues, and we encourage that because everybody eats shit sandwiches outside of the gym. This should be a place about you and being uplifting and supportive. We don't need some dickhead running around here making people and belittling people and make them eat shit sandwiches.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to write these directives on top of what the uniform represents to is, hold yourself to a little bit of higher standard too. I want everybody here to be almost a staple in our community. Like if you're representing the brand, you're a safe person, a safe place. You can get a hold of people that are there to help move. If someone's in danger, you know the right people there to help. Because we want Forge to be just this safe haven for all of our family. Even if these people aren't, a member and a part of this community right now. If anybody ever needs anything, I want the Forge F to be almost like the bat symbol, like boom, there's the Forge F. Like, hey, we know some people that'll be able to help you out through injury, through sickness, through depression, whatever ailment you have. Bring them to Forge. Bring them and make them a part of this. Give them the uniform. Yeah. And see if they want to be a part of this team.
I think that's a lot of good points. It's like the Forge F, it doesn't just represent a brand, which, that's what a lot of people are going to see first. Yeah. It represents the community that we built here in Sheridan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And like, unlike any that I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
And of course I'm biased, but, but it's just like, you guys rock. Like all of you guys. Like every day I walk into the gym and I see another person wearing our brand. A brand new person come in and buy a shirt with our logo on it, or driving around town and seeing people's cars with our brand on there. How cool is that?
Yeah, and it's just cool to see how it's growing. And that was actually a concern of ours initially, is like when we made that transition to being like a 24/7 open gym where it is just open to the public, we can, and you don't know who's going to come through those doors. But I think the culture and like the standards that we've set, it kind of like has weeded out and found the people that are like representative of those values and those beliefs.
And it's contagious.
Yeah, and like you feel it when you walk in here, right? Like there's a vibe to it, and you see how people act in here, and you guys are setting the standard just by the way you treat each other and the way that you guys respect each other when you're lifting here.
And it keeps us in check. Not like we ever really feel elitist or anything like that, but just like how accepting you guys are and just how supportive you guys are just makes me want to try even harder to mirror that energy and that vibe that you bring. And it's an amazing feeling as an owner of this place.
Yeah. And like Chancellor said, I mean, a lot of times in my life and probably your guys' life too, sometimes the gym's like one of those things and one of the only parts of your life you feel like you have some control, right? And something that you can just directly know that this is improving me, this is for my betterment. And so we do not want to contaminate that and want to make sure that never changes here, that this is always some place that, like, end of the day, like Chancellor said, shit sandwiches, life sucks, things are hard. you can come here and this is like your kind of haven and break from
and you will have
reality.
support.
Yeah.
You know, people that have been through the trenches or going through the trenches with you, and they're pulling themselves back up to their feet.
Yeah.
And I mean, the gym can be one of the most selfish places in the world when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, everybody needs some self-improvement and in time and a space to do that without having to worry about judgment or worry about the opinions of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are always, if you're part of this fleet, you guys are always have my encouragement, my support, Michael's, and all the crew, and you guys will be blown away when you walk in and see the rest of the fleet support for you.
Yeah.
This next topic, maintain a tidy ship, re-rack your weights, wipe down the machines, clean your mess. It's kind of related to the first one, but
Yeah.
a little more detail in it, right?
Yeah. So, you know, a lot of this stuff is kind of relates back to my days in the military. I think respecting your surrounding has a huge part of what, you know, makes a community good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like you guys have everybody's been through a bad neighborhood where there's trash all over the place. You know, like people just got shit thrown out in the yard. You already get kind of a bad vibe when something is dirty, right? And that becomes a contagious thing in itself. Is like people obviously don't care about their surroundings, so what can they say about themselves?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this attention to detail thing that they just beat into my head in the military was, you know, have attention to your surroundings. You know, what you're a part of and what you live in and all that directly reflects on who you are. So if you have pride in the fleet and you have pride in being Forge, take care of the equipment here. Not just because I put a lot of hours into building it and we have literally burned the midnight oil and making this thing a reality and we want things to last. But at the end of the day, we want people to walk in and be like, wow, the people here care about this place.
Yeah.
Because what an amazing opportunity we have to be in this building in
Mm-hmm.
the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the amount of effort and blood, sweat, and tears that we put into just making this what it is now would be a shame to see if people didn't take care. And the thing is people really do take care of this place.
I've been super impressed by like people actually following.
Oh my
that.
gosh!
It's like, you know, wiping down your machines, re-racking your weights,
and it keeps me in check again, dude.
Yeah.
Because sometimes my thing is like I don't like weights on the floor, but I will be one of the first people to walk away from weights on a bar because I'm like, that's easy to unload. But when I watch all the open gym members wiping down their stuff and re-racking their weights, I'm like, dude, I need to kick my ass into gear a little bit here.
Yeah.
These guys are outperforming me. And like I should care the most, right? Like at the end of the day, it's just like be proud of what you're a part of.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to ask you guys to mop the floor. That's Ben's job.
Yep.
Kinda. But at the same time, you know, like if you guys notice something wrong with a machine, if there's a bolt's missing or something that I built, you know, and something's just not right, feel free to voice it.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it to our attention because I promise you we will do everything to fix it and make sure because, like I said, I respect this place and it's our dream of a place and we want to keep it as well protected as possible.
Having that cleanliness in the gym is like for someone new, it's like their first impression, right? And there's nothing worse than coming into a gym that's like dirty, not put together, and smells bad, whatever.
Yeah.
And so like we're always like wanting to and want this community to grow. So it's like you guys help keep this like a tidy ship. So it's like if someone does walk through their doors, we don't want them to get that bad first impression and be like, yeah, this place is kind of sloppy and nobody, you know, is respecting all the equipment and the weights and all that whatnot. But
Yeah, I mean, it's just like earlier today, Reagan mentioned to me that some spot over in the gym smelled like sweat or something off, and that was my first response, is just to get that clean.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't want anybody smelling that or you know, having to deal with that.
Yeah. And I think also too, it's just like, could you imagine if you're trying to talk your gym up and you know, maybe you're looking for a new gym partner, bring a friend in. We want this to be somewhere that you're proud of, bringing somebody in and getting that first impression that Michael's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so not all your guys' job to keep it clean. That's our job, but like help out in any way you can. As simple as re-racking your weights and wiping down your machines and just putting things away.
Yeah, and if you ever see or notice someone not putting their weights away or leaving a mess, like, tell them.
You have our permission to confront them.
Yeah,
because it's a group effort.
Yeah.
And some people are just going to unintentionally be lazy about it.
Yeah.
But I guarantee if somebody just walks up and like, hey, man.
Calls them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might want to put the weights away. You can even say, don't let Michael and Chancellor see you do that.
Yeah.
Like, just get it to their attention. I mean, that one's pretty self-explanatory, but, sometimes those things need to be said and addressed.
Yeah, and it's appreciated, so.
Yeah.
So, like you kind of mentioned, group effort, service before self, work as a team, offer a spot, share your knowledge and time to help others.
That one is probably one of my favorite ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the key rules in the Air Force, and that was one of the, main core values, was service before self.
That's where that comes from, like that phrase, right?
Exactly,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's, as part of the Forge community, your service is to, like we said in the first point, was to uplift others, right? Yes, the gym is selfish and it's about your goals, but at the end of the day, like when you sign up and you get this uniform to wear here, and when I say that, I mean just being a part of the family, your job is to inspire the people around you, not bring them down.
Mm-hmm.
So offer a hand. If someone looks like they're going to hurt themselves, don't be afraid to approach them, and it's better to let someone have some key points that maybe they'll use, maybe they won't, than just to let them do something wrong and hurt themselves.
And I think a lot of people, some of us have been lifting a while, but if you guys remember, and I know a lot of people I've heard this feedback from, like it's so intimidating to walk into a gym. And when you don't know what you're doing and you think you're at a place where everyone's just like, big, strong meatheads and like you're not going to fit in. And I've heard countless stories of like other power lifters, even myself. It's like that guy or that gal that like comes up to you and like, is willing to take you under their wing and give you some guidance. Yeah,
dude.
like that's how people actually feel welcomed and will actually fall in love with like the gym and lifting. And that's vital in anybody's journey, is like having somebody there to guide you, help you, and even just like spotting you and not feeling like that's uncomfortable. Like you're inconveniencing them by asking them for a spot.
Yeah. Or as simple as, how does this machine work? Maybe it's their first time.
Yeah.
Take your time and explain it.
Yeah.
To the best of your knowledge. And I mean, the thing is, we have so many people in here that are part of the open gym that have a lot of education, a lot of knowledge on strength training.
Yeah.
Right? So don't be afraid. Even ask Ben at the front desk. He's got plenty of knowledge and experience with this stuff. But we want that to be an open forum where if you're unsure about how to use something like the chain straps or how to put a band on a deadlift platform, or even something like, how do I wear a belt? Ask somebody in here, because they're going to give you some advice that maybe, you could look up online, but maybe you haven't heard before, or they explain it in a way that really, clicks the gears for you.
And then, of course, like we want anybody and everybody to feel like they can approach us and ask us, like even if we're, training a client, it's like, ask us. But, there are only so many of the crew members. So we want you guys to be like teachers and mentors to the people here, and to have that opportunity too, to like help somebody out, take them under your wing. And I think I have seen that, which is great. Like people are very like willing to help out and spot, but just encouraging that and making sure, someone's not just being a dick and just like, blowing people off, or, if you're the big strong guy, like you don't want to help this young kid or someone who's just starting out, like feel like that's an uncomfortable thing to have them ask for advice or a spot or whatever.
No, because honestly, it takes a lot of guts for someone to come up and ask you for help.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like your pride,
mm-hmm.
especially in our male clients, right? Like,
mm-hmm.
No guy wants that. And male clients are the worst about that. They just cannot take criticism.
Yeah.
But if someone comes up and approaches you and they want some constructive criticism, your job is to offer that and not, destructive criticism. Not tell them that they're just doing that shitty. That's not right. Like, okay, well, if it's not right, how do you do it better? Right? Or teach them a little bit. It takes like 2 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
Teach them one thing that they can work on.
Yeah. You'll see it nowadays. It's like there's gym fails and people making fun of people for like not knowing what they're doing. It's like that's something we just not tolerate here. It's like there's no, if somebody doesn't know what they're doing, it's like, hey, at least they're trying, they're giving an effort, and they're putting themselves out there and trying a new machine or trying a new lift or trying to get better at it, and if we see people like disrespecting or mocking or whatever behind someone's back, it's like, that's again something that we just don't tolerate.
Especially if it's somebody's new, say maybe they're a little unexperienced, overweight. There should be, no, there's zero tolerance for anything like that.
Yeah.
Those guys, they have the balls to come in here and put their foot down and go towards a goal. If there's somebody in there, trying to take away the little motivation that they have now, that's not going to be tolerated in Forge. So your service is to offer help as much as you can.
Mm-hmm. And we've all been there, right? Like, we can look back at our old lifting videos or remember how we used to lift back in the day. And that's why, too, we don't want people to feel like, it's embarrassing or whatever, that you don't know what you're doing or you're inexperienced, because everybody starts that journey.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And the thing is it's a skill, and the learning curve is huge, and it's going to take you a long time. But if there's people there that'll offer you a little hint here or there, if you ask for it, then it's just going to make this journey that you're on so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
This also leads really well into the next one. Establish first contact, introduce yourself to newcomers, reach out and recruit others towards the mission.
Yeah. So, like, when I say establish first contact, right? How many times have you seen some brand new guy walk into the gym, or brand new gal, or somebody coming in and they don't really, you can kind of tell when somebody's their first day because they're kind of like walking around kind of aimless. Mm-hmm. Maybe looking at the machines, maybe have an idea what they're doing, maybe not. Reach out to them. Welcome them to the community. Make them feel welcome. And the first day that they're here, the amount of effort to apply is minimal by just saying hello, how are you, first day, hey, how's it going? How little is that? Immediately they feel accepted.
Yeah.
Immediately they feel welcomed. Versus everybody walking around in headphones not saying anything.
Yeah.
When Mike and I first started the gym, we wanted it to be like a no headphone thing, because so many people just put their headphones in and tune everything out. I get it. I know that's the zone that you want to be in. But every now and then, pop one of those earpieces out. Say what's up. Be friendly.
Make some eye contact.
Yeah.
Make sure you acknowledge the people here and not act like you're the only one in the space and that nobody else matters or whatever. And it doesn't have to be much, like Chancellor said. It's just like a hello, a head nod even,
Yeah, have you seen that meme where it's like how two guys become friends in the gym? It's like the first day they're just like head nod. So, the second week they give knuckles. The third day it's like, dude, what's up, man? Looking huge. That's legit. That's really how it works. And how much effort is it? None.
No.
But it makes people accept it, and it makes the journey so much more enjoyable, because at the end of the day, no one loves working out. They can tell themselves that, but it's a lie. It sucks. It's hard. It's not always fun. Mm-hmm. And they're going to have those days where motivation is zero and discipline has to kick in. And how much more are they going to be willing to comply when they know they have a space full of people that support them? Mm-hmm. Or they're just changing gyms and they're in that kind of that null where it's more discipline than motivation, and they're dragging themselves to the gym, and the first thing they get when they walk through the door is a bunch of people like, hey man, what's up, first day?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
it's
just
a world of difference. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's even more important for those people that are maybe early in their fitness career too, mm-hmm. because they're signing up for a lifetime contract. A lot of people here are fulfilling that lifetime contract. This is something that you do for a long time, forever, probably something you always will do. Mm-hmm. So, give them a little sign-on bonus of having a nice community to come into. Yeah. Give them a little sign-on bonus of a friendly face and some encouragement.
Yeah. One I think too, we can all probably attest to this, is the people you meet at the gym become like, they are your peers, and like you'll develop relationships and friendships that if you're the guy that wears his headphones, doesn't say hi to anybody, it's like you're missing out on, like, again, what we discussed earlier, like a community of like-minded people that are here to just better themselves and want to improve and, just love the weights, right? And it's like, why are you missing out on an opportunity to, like, find a new lifting partner, have a friend, or have someone that, like, hey, I know Jim now, he can spot me, right? Like, say hi to that guy. So it's like you guys can spot each other and encourage each other, push each other. And again, like Chancellor said, this is like, you're here for yourself, but I think you're devaluing what you can get out of this if you're not including other people and supporting other people in this. And the gym can be more for you than just only a selfish endeavor, right? Yeah. It's fun to take people along with you on the same journey that they're going on that you are.
And I mean, that's what makes Forge stand out, right? Is the community and the culture that we have. Mm-hmm. So contribute a little bit. And I also think the gym is such a crazy place when you think about it, because you're going to see people going through all sorts of phases emotionally and mentally. You're going to see people in here when they're at the lowest they could possibly be physically. Like something bad has happened, but they're still here.
Yeah.
And you're going to see people that are at their highest.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see a spectrum of in this range of in between, and you can see one person going through this, but there's one constant, and it's this. And you can be part of that constant. Like your friendly face might make the difference of why someone wants to come when they're low.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think about it like one place. You're not going to see that guy at his job at his super low. He's always going to have a fake face, a facade on. But here you kind of get to see who someone truly is, and you get to kind of witness them grow through the lows and the highs. And it's just such a unique atmosphere when you like just take a step back and think about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Your simple hello can make the difference of when somebody is dragging ass, doesn't want to show up. The shit sandwiches that they've been eating are just a mouthful, But they think, you know what? At least, I'll talk to so-and-so. Or I'll say what's up. Or, that could just be the breaking point for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it doesn't take much effort at all.
Yeah.
No, and personally, what I do as front desk guy, the first thing I try to do is I always ask their name.
Yeah.
Just ask their name. Introduce yourself, ask their name. That's like the best way to establish contact.
You're huge. That's huge, dude. And I mean, you'll mostly forget sometimes.
And then you just call him brother.
Or
What's
like,
up, brother?
Hey, chief.
Yeah, give him a nickname.
Yeah.
I've never been upset at somebody forgetting my name. So,
No.
don't think they will be either.
Yeah.
But you continue to do that, and eventually the names are gonna stick.
Mm-hmm.
You might have a couple times, but the coolest thing about that was one of the newcomers here, and of course can't remember his name, but he's the big guy down there right now with
Jackson, right?
Yeah, big beard.
Yep.
Bald head.
Yep, Jackson.
Super friendly, cool dude.
Very friendly.
It was like one of his first days here, and he stopped me. He's like, dude, you're one of the owners, right? I'm like, yeah. This is your first day? I started bullshitting, and he's like, dude, I just wanted to stop you and tell you. And it sounds super cheesy. And I was like, what? And he's like, thank you so much for making this place.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just like, like, yeah, dude. I mean, I did that for everybody, but for me too. But it's just, he's like, this is exactly what I've always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy loves that there's dogs here. The guy loves the community here. He loves the nerdy stuff all over the walls. He just loves the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It's like, I've seen him here so much now. It was a few times here and there when he first started coming, but now it's like every day. Because what? I stopped and talked to him a little bit, and the people around here are just friendly to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now his motivation's through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And motivation's hard to come by.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in this life contract of fitness.
Yeah, I just think it means more to people than you realize, and it's going to make a bigger impact. And I think, like Chancellor said, it's a little bit of effort, and I think you and the other people and the rest of the community get more out of it than, the effort versus reward ratio is just like so skewed towards like it's just being best for everybody and yourself. So yeah, like just make it simple. Just say hello, give them some knucks, say hi, give them a head nod at the very least. And just be friendly and open with everybody here.
Yeah. And like, if you have the knowledge to share and they want or they're asking, like, don't be afraid to go with it.
Yeah.
Give them what you know. Who cares if it might not be textbook? Your experience is huge, you know, and that's even outside of the gym, dude. If they're having problems outside of it with life and they just need somebody to talk to, like, just be that guy. That's part of the service before self too.
Absolutely.
It's like, that's part of being in the Forge community, is we care about everybody here. Sometimes I don't remember their names, but I can tell you everybody's face in my head.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next one. Boldly go where no man has gone before. Push the limits of your mind and body. Never give up. Never surrender.
I mean, that's almost a direct Star Trek
quote.
Boldly go where no man has gone before. But I think it's very, very applicable to strength training in general. Just being a part of the community here. It's like, wherever your limit is like, we want you to find it. You know, it doesn't matter where that is. We want you to push yourself, have some grit, you know, test yourself a little bit. This is what this place is for, and that's why the community is so supportive, is because they want to see you, you know, extend your limits, go where you have not gone before. You know, that's the process of improving yourself. If you've already been there, you're not growing. So grow, push it hard. Don't give up, don't quit. Not when things, you know, feel like you're not making any progress. That's maybe when you ask somebody for their knowledge and their experience. Everybody here's got different goals. Figure out which ones are aligned with your goal and see what they have to say. You know, but we want everybody to kind of focus on this overarching goal of pushing themselves and growing and hitting adversity and learning to trudge through it.
Yeah. Well, and that's just so applicable to life. And we've talked about this before, Chancellor and I. It's like the gym is like a way to develop that part of yourself that is like pushing past obstacles, hitting plateaus and learning and growing, so you can, like, you know, still reach the next limit. And the cool thing about the gym, right, is like objective. You can see and know every time you're making progress, and when you're getting PRs, like that's why we have the PR board, because you're just trying to beat yourself and beat your own numbers. And I've heard it from multiple people, which I love, is like the environment here, which you guys all help install, is like they'll start lifting here and it's like, man, I'm just getting stronger. Like, you know, I used to train here or there, and it's like I was just plateauing forever. And you see so many places like that, and we've all seen those people at the gym. It's like they go there, they might be going consistently, but year after year, like, you just don't see a change. You're not making progress. You're kind of going through the motions. But I think, you know, you guys and we were trying to push is like something about Forge where it's like, you know, when I'm here, it's like, I want to push, I want to grow.
Yeah.
I see you guys doing that, and like it encourages people to do the same. So it's like when you're pushing and trying to get PRs or trying to get stronger or build more muscle or whatever it is, lose weight, that vibe, that atmosphere is like, it's rubbing off on everybody else. And so we aren't here to kind of go through the motions or just walk on the treadmill and do the same exercises every time and never add the weight. So it's like, you know, that's why it is one of our main directive is like, go grow, like push yourself. Like, we want you coming here to be like a direct representation of like, you know, what we want to carry on in life, and a philosophy that you have on life is like just always improving. You know, I think I've heard that phrase before. It's like, you know, there is no like what's it called, just maintaining, right? That you always, if you're maintaining, you're regressing,
You're stagnant,
you're
right?
stagnant, and you're not growing, and you're missing out on opportunity. So when you're here, and you know, and with this environment, it's like that always constant push to be better. And it has for us, and I think it will for you as well, like carry over to other areas of your life. You get a level of confidence, you know, and you see it, like people get a PR, that just is like a high, right? And you love that feeling, and it does, like it builds that part in your brain and your mentality that, you know, that will carry over to other goals you have. And this will be a thing you can do to build that momentum, which is hard to do sometimes. Like sometimes when we talked about earlier, life gets tough, and sometimes you don't know which direction to go, relationships, work, whatever. But the gym is something where, you know, you show up, put in the work, like you'll start making progress and it'll build momentum that will, you know, ripple out to other areas of your life.
Yeah, and your individual success just echoes in these halls because it's motivating to other people. And like I always say, motivation is a hard thing to keep.
Mm-hmm.
So every time we have a shimmer of it, people hold on to it, you know. And, you know, when Michael's talking about how it just builds a person up to push themselves like that, I tell all my clients one of the best ways that you can possibly build confidence is doing something that scares the living shit out of you.
Yeah.
You know, like you're about to squat a max
That you've never touched before.
and you don't know if you're going to be able to stand back up with it or not.
Yeah.
But you do it anyways. So it's like once you stand up with that weight and you had that little bitch voice in your head saying, dude, you can't do that. That's way too heavy.
Yeah.
And you stand up anyways and you rack that weight and you tell that bitch voice who's the boss, and the boss voice takes over and says, man, I could do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That level of building your confidence is unreal.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't understand it. Like, that's just such a raw, primal feeling. It's hard to replicate outside of the gym.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, obviously, with your business and relationship and whatever, but you will, what is the saying? Fatigue will make a coward out of any man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once you hit that point where you're like fatigued and you want to back out and quit and your bitch voice is taking over, but you have the boss voice to say, what's up? I'm here, I'm sticking in, I'm going to march through this. You come out the other side 10 times more confident.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think the gym is a unique place for that. And I think when you don't have that opportunity sometimes in like the rest of your life, like this again is a place where you can, and make sure it's like a place where you're consistently doing that.
Yeah.
In some areas of life, like they don't have that consistency, right? Where it's
No
like
way.
you can make progress every step of the way.
Yeah.
But anybody that comes to the gym, you know, week to week, month to month, year to year, and even for us, like we've been lifting a long time, but it can take you a year to get a 10-pound PR.
But guess what, dude? You did
But
it.
you did it, yeah.
And
like sometimes those are even more gratifying than like when you're just starting out and you can throw
when you
weight on
finally
every
break
week.
through.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to carry off that, I think when you're in those lows where you've been feeling like you're just grinding and you're not making any headway on your goal, that also is a huge like character definer. Are you going to back out and quit?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to stick to the plan? Are you going to keep pushing until you figure out a way to make it happen?
Yeah.
And guess what? Sometimes there's going to be setbacks. Sometimes you're going to tweak your shoulder
Yeah.
like
good.
I did.
Yeah.
Or you're going to tweak your neck like Michael did just, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But learning to get around that and build back better, you know, you beat that adversity and you conquer it. I mean, that's why Build, Conquer, Repeat has been our slogan. Since day one.
Yeah.
You build yourself, you conquer adversity, and you repeat it. And you do that until you're, you know, and you keep setting new goals.
Mm-hmm.
You reach a goal, check, next.
Yeah.
So I think it's so hard to not stress how important that is to push yourself. And, you know, there's going to be days, and everybody has those days where they're just going through the motion, and that's fine. You don't have to come in here just on fire all the time.
No, and you don't, and we don't.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
You know, today might be an 80% day. That's all I got. 60% day. That's all I got. But at least you're here. Because your 60% day and showing up to the gym is pushing your limits. You're boldly going where no man has gone before.
Yeah.
Because most people won't do that.
Yeah.
Most people have a bad day. You know, maybe they had to work a little extra outside or they had to do something. They're like, nah, I already did it.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't want to put that effort in. No, that's when you show up and push yourself, because that's where boldly going where no man has gone before.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like you see people do this. They start these journeys and then like they give up on it, right? And we are just trying to ingrain that. It's like this is a, like Chancellor said, a lifelong commitment.
Yeah.
Never give up on it.
Yep.
And set that goal, and then just like, you know, maybe you want it to happen sooner than it does, but if it hasn't happened yet, like you just keep chipping away at it.
Yeah.
Or you find help and figure out those obstacles or the plateaus and getting past it. But it's just so invaluable to be able to commit to those goals, commit to this process, commit to this like journey, and ingrain it into who you are. And we want that to be a part of anybody that comes here, right? Like, it isn't something where this is just something you check off the box just to do it.
Yeah.
It's like a commitment to it. And you want to be improving in this, right? Like, this health and wellness journey and the strength journey too, is just like something you commit to in the long haul.
Yeah.
And it's not something you give up on just because there's an injury, there's an obstacle, life gets busy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why our gym's open 24/7 too. It's like there's no excuse that you can't make it in
100%.
here. And I know a lot of you, like, your lives are busy and crazy
With
and things
kids
get out of hand.
and
But, I see people, and I know people that come here at 4 a.m. or will lift at 10 p.m. until midnight.
Think about Doc with 7 kids, man.
Yeah, they'll come in early before work or whatever. But, there's no excuses as to why. And it's just, your reasons, you'll have a million as to why not to do it.
Yeah.
But we're encouraging you, and we're trying to, live that out ourselves. Like, we've all been injured, and we've all had these setbacks. And, we do have the excuse that we run the gym, but we're busy as hell too. And we're just like, we talked about this before. We've never missed our workouts.
Yeah.
Regardless of how busy we got or how hard it got.
Yeah. If I miss a day, it's on the next day. If I miss that day, it's on the next day. And sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, dude, I have to cram like 4 days straight because I got busy and did it. But at least you're there.
Yeah.
And that is part of pushing yourself beyond your limits, because most people's limits are so low.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what it means to grind. They don't. Yeah. And that's why my heart will always be in powerlifting, because at the end of the day, the sport is about grinding and pushing past your limits. Because, we've all seen those lifters that as soon as, they could probably get the rep, but as soon as it starts getting hard, they quit.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's time to push.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the growth is going to happen, right? It's just like bodybuilders. You think they quit when they hit 15 reps?
Get a burn. Yeah.
No, they push until they don't even start counting until the burn happens. That's when the 15 reps goes, right? So it's all about pushing your limits. At the end of the day, it's the uncomfortable things that make you grow. Mm-hmm. And you just got to kind of accept it and find it. And I think that's why Mike and I loved that quote so much, even though it's in every Star Trek ever, like, just boldly go where no man has gone before.
Yeah.
Because most men don't want, most people, I wouldn't just say men. When I say no man, I mean human beings, humans don't want to push their limits, because being comfortable is way easier, but you're not growing. And it's like, what a shame in life it'd be not to grow. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine going through your whole life? You'd still be the kid that you were if you didn't grow. Because people grow in all aspects of life. But the process of growth is a beautiful thing. And it is a very, wise mentor is that process. Mm-hmm. You're gonna face some hardships. You're gonna face some highs and lows, and you come out through the other side a changed individual through growth and your experience and your knowledge. I mean, isn't that what life is about? Like, let's get here. Like, seriously, dude, isn't life just about growing and being better?
Yeah.
Life's not about material things and accumulating all this stuff. It's about becoming the best version of the Michael or the Ben or the Chancellor or whoever that you can be. And it's going to look different for everybody. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's going to grow the same way, but they're going to grow regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a regretful life, I think, when you haven't experienced or pushed into that discomfort.
Yeah.
And you're going to look back one day and, wish and wanted to done more. And we want people not to live with that kind of regret. And we want them to know what their bodies are capable of, which I think is great. It's like, I think even from, which is cool to see nowadays, is like women too. It's like they don't realize how strong they can be.
Oh my
and
gosh.
how how that strength too carries over to their confidence and how they feel and what they can do. And also by age too. It's like, when you get into your older years, it's like if you don't push your body and, develop the strength, you'll lose it, right? It's like, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're, maintaining, it's like if you don't actually push into the discomfort, that maintenance mode goes down and down and down.
Yeah.
But if you're going against and grinding against time and always pushing your limits, it's like you will grow, you'll get stronger, and you can be stronger. Like my mom is, she's stronger in her 60s than she was in her 20s.
Yeah, she is so strong too.
Well, yeah, she deadlifts 300 pounds.
Insane.
And what that done for her life, not just in the gym, obviously, but in outside of it, it's just huge and
exponential.
But you know, I think even when she first came here, she just wanted to get fit or be healthier. But I think the way that we were training her and building her up in here, it's like she was capable of so much more than she realized, and it scared her every time you'd add on weight. But once she did, she was like, I guess that little inkling of confidence and that excitement of like,
and
I
now
am
she looks
concerned.
forward to it, man. That's the growth right there.
Mm-hmm.
From timid and shy to wanting more. That's you've just changed your mom, dude. Like that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like 60 years old. Now she has a different mindset where she's not scared and timid.
Yeah.
That's growth.
So use this as an opportunity, this gym, this place, and we'll always emphasize it and try to lead from the front doing the same. But like we want all and encourage you all to do that and have the gym be a place that is unique, I think, like Chancellor said, where this is a place where you can just push your limits, you know, regardless of age, sex, whatever experience. There's always room for growth.
And
there's no limit to
and
really
if
what you can do.
if you fail while you're pushing your limits, no one's going to judge you. We fail all the time.
Yeah.
You know, that is a part of the learning curve. If you get hurt, no one's going to judge you. That is part of this. This is part of the process. There's going to be setbacks. Your failures, you're going to learn more from when you fail a lift than you will ever when you complete a lift.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to learn more from the injuries that occur during your training that you ever will if you went through it without an injury.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this is part of it.
Yeah.
Expect it. It's going to happen. Just be mentally prepared to and have the mental fortitude to know that this isn't the end. You know, this is just a stepping stone. I got set back a little bit, but we're still going to move. I might have to crawl, but I'm going to move forward.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, once you guys get in that headspace of where you guys think that, you know, I think, you know, when I was running that free boot camp, I had a saying, potential never peaks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, is there really a peak on the potential of what you can do physically? I don't know. I don't think I've met it.
Mm-mm.
You know, I have an elite total. I don't think I've met it. I don't want to think that I've met it because I always want to earn to do better.
Yeah.
So, like, your potential is untapped, and just keep that in mind. And you will always make forward progression.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't hit a peak. I mean, your peak might be different than when you were younger or different in different stages of your life. But, like, you got to think that every new era of your life is a PR, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're 50 plus, or your mom, 300-pound deadlift.
Mm-hmm.
What? Dude, that's a huge peak in her performance. And
Yeah.
she's going more than that.
Yeah.
So it just...
Well, just don't live a life that you wasted it. And I think at the end of the day, this applies to all areas of your life. But if you know you left everything on the table, again, that's like a life without regret.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you can say that and say that honestly and look yourself in the mirror, it's like, to me, that's kind of that constant growth, that constant pushing is the secret to like a fulfilled life and happiness or satisfaction and pride in what you've done. And so, you know, when you join this gym, we want to think about it that way, where it's like, I'm signing this contract, this gym membership, but it means more than that because this is a commitment to that betterment.
Yeah. It's almost like the fine print, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what we want from each of the people wearing our uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, and it all curtails together, but it's like that, again, that's why we kind of end with that. And that's like the emphasis or the last directive is like, this is where we want this overwhelming philosophy to apply to all of it.
yeah, you're in a place surrounded by people that encourage you. You have a job to serve the community in any way that you can. You're welcoming, and you push yourself. You just be an idol, a staple in the community. You know?
I mean, we all are. We're like, we impact and we're leaders in our own way.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's really cool to see that because we've had, you know, clients that come here, and I think more than people seeing us do our lifts is like seeing their friends and family come here and get stronger.
Yeah.
And, you know, people like Jan, my mom, it's like they've just made these transformations, and they're lifting and doing things that people never, or they even themselves ever expected. But it's you guys doing that is encouraging your friend, your neighbor, other people in the community to come here and do the same for themselves. So, if you live that and show that to people, that is the most direct way to have impact and change, not just for yourself, but more importantly, even like the people in this community.
Yeah.
And you guys are the ones that are inspiring people to join this and come part of the Forge fleet.
Yeah. It's not us. It's you guys, honestly.
Yeah, nobody really cares about our
Yeah,
PRs.
we're just
like
kind of
they just
the
lifted more
stewards here.
stupid weight.
Yeah.
It's like, but really, you guys and you embodying that, I think, has the most impact, and we really appreciate it, because at the end of the day, we're coaches. I'm a therapist, Chancellor's a coach. We're all kind of just coaches at the end of the day, but we tell you what to do, but you're doing it. Like, you're the one lifting the weight.
Work.
You're the one making. I mean, this is all your efforts. And the fruits of that are are why we've grown and why people are joined up with Forge. It's because of what you guys are doing. So if you're not getting better, it's like that stops. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And so we're grateful for it, all your blood, sweat, and tears, because that really is like the lifeblood of what Forge is.
Yeah, and just to carry off the last directive too, if you're at a point where you don't really know how to push correctly or go forward from there, you're at a stalling point.
You're injured, you're
Yeah.
stuck, can't get past it.
Come see one of us. Injury, you could talk to Mike or Reagan, they'll figure that out for you. If you just need to break a plateau, come talk to me or Mason or Grant. That's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we don't want you to hit that point where you think that you can't go any farther, because this is not what that community is for. We want you to always know that you have our strong backs there to support you and push you.
Mm-hmm. And the rest of the community, yeah.
But
Welcome back.
Thanks. In addition to the sound guy, I'm also the front desk guy.
yeah,
Yep.
Had to run down there, sign up a new person. We just hit 3:30, so
nice.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. PR for gym membership.
Yep, that's huge.
all right. You guys done with the podcast, or you got anything left you want to say?
I think that's pretty much about it. We'll just sign off with the regular. At the end of the day, build yourself, conquer adversity, and repeat daily. Do these things and you will lead a successful life. Punch the mic.
This has been the Forged in Wyo podcast. My name is Forge Master Ben with Chancellor Perry and Dr. Mike Alzheimer's. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify.